Hello, friends. Mrs. Taima here, and I am here to teach you, along with Miss Spears, day 3 of Module 2 from Wit and Wisdom. We are going to continue with the hare and the tortoise today. Our learning goal today is what do the main characters' actions, so what do they do, what does it teach us? You will start out by learning from Miss Spears, who will be helping you identify the main characters. Miss Spears will reread The Hare and the Tortoise to help look for clues that describe actions by the two main characters. You will hear Miss Spears use the word annotate. Can everybody say annotate? Good job. The word annotate means to take notes. The way Miss Spears takes notes is by underlining a word or words in the paragraph she is reading that she thinks is important to help you answer your question about the actions that the main characters are doing. What does it teach you? You will practice doing that later in part 2. So let's get started with Miss Spears to learn about the main characters and the actions they do that help us understand or learn something from them.
Hello, first grade friends, and welcome back to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I'm excited to jump into our lesson. But before we do, let's make sure you have all of your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need Handout 1B, The Hare and the Tortoise, Handout 2A, Topic Sandwich Chart, your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal, a pencil, and some colored pencils or crayons or markers if you have those. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials. The question that will frame our learning for today is, what does looking at the main characters' actions reveal to us? And I say characters because remember, in the previous lesson, you had an opportunity to identify the characters. And if you remember, there were two main characters. I want you to think, who do you remember were the two main characters in this fable? Meaning, who is the story mostly about? Tell your learning partner. I'm sure you guessed it. The main characters in The Hare and the Tortoise are the hare and the tortoise. Now, we will talk about a word that describes one of the main character's actions, and actions are something that a character does. And the word that describes one of the main character's actions is steadily. I'll say it again, steadily. And steadily means to keep moving in a regular way. Now I want you to think, who moves steadily? Was it the tortoise or was it the hare? Tell your learning partner. I'm sure you said it. The tortoise is the character who moved steadily. Now, let's examine more of the tortoise's actions. So if you have handout 1B, you can follow along as I read. A hare was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so slow. Do you ever get anywhere? He asked with a mocking laugh. Let's think. While the hare is making fun of the tortoise, what is the tortoise doing? What is the tortoise doing? Tell your learning partner. What is the tortoise doing? I'm sure you guessed it. The tortoise is listening. And we know that because in the next sentence, we see the tortoise responds by saying, "Yes," replied the tortoise, "and I get there sooner than you think. I'll run you a race and prove it." So in this sentence, what are the tortoise's actions? What does he do? Think about that. What does he do? Tell your learning partner. Yes, he challenges the hare to a race. And we see it here. I'll run you a race and prove it. So in this sentence, the tortoise is challenging the hare to a race. Now, to get more practice before you annotate or mark the tortoise's actions in the last paragraph, we are going to look at the hare's actions in these two paragraphs. So listen carefully. The hare was much amused at the idea of running a race with the tortoise, but for the fun of the thing, he agreed. So the fox, who had consented to act as judge, marked the distance and started the runners off. So here, let's think about the hare's actions. We see one of the hare's actions that he agreed to the race. Let's keep going. The hare was soon far out of sight, and to make the tortoise feel very deeply how ridiculous it was for him to try a race with the hare, he lay down beside the course to take a nap until the tortoise should catch up. So in this paragraph, we see the hare's actions are that he lay down beside the course to take a nap.
Hello friends, Mrs. Taima here. I am back. I hope you enjoyed your video with Miss Spears and rereading a part of the hare and the tortoise. We are now going to reread the final paragraph from the handout that you read on Monday. If you have your handout from day one, you may get it out now. If you don't, that is okay. You can just follow along with us. So now it is our turn to practice looking for clues of actions by the tortoise or the hare that will help us learn more towards our learning goal for today, which is what do the actions from the tortoise and the hare teach us? So let's continue reading the passage. It's the last paragraph from our story. Let me get my handy dandy writing tool here. We're going to do red. All right, so we are going to be looking for actions by the tortoise or the hare. Let's read first. The tortoise, meanwhile, kept going slowly but steadily, and after a time passed the place where the hare was sleeping. But the hare slept on very peacefully, and when at last he did wake up, the tortoise was very near the goal. The hare now ran his swiftest, that means his fastest, but he could not overtake the tortoise in time. So, I want you to turn to your learning partner and I want you to tell them what was an action that we just read about the tortoise. If you said that the tortoise kept going slowly but steadily, you are right. That action was from the tortoise. Now, the hare had a couple of actions in this paragraph. Turn to your learning partner and tell them one of the actions from the hare. If you said that he was sleeping, you're right. That was one action by the hare. He also ran his swiftest. Remember, swiftest meant fastest, but he could not overtake the tortoise in time. So now that we have reviewed the actions in this paragraph, and you reviewed the actions in the previous paragraphs of the story with Miss Spears, I want you to turn to your learning partner and tell them how the tortoise's actions affected the outcome, or what happens at the end of the race. Turn to your partner now. All right. I hope that you learned a lot from this story so far. And remember, even though the tortoise was much slower than the hare, he kept going slow and steadily, and this helped him beat the hare, who moved fast but unsteadily. Good work, friends. Now you can enjoy a brain break, and then we will move on to part 2.